I'm not going to let parents come into schools and actually take books out and make their own decision. I don't think parents should be telling schools what they should teach.
Virginia's Democratic gubernatorial candidate Terry McAuliffe criticized over his comments about what should be taught in schools and saying that parents should stay out of it. This comes as heated debates continue at local school board meetings across the country about whether public schools should teach critical race theory, which is a legal theory that recognizes that systemic racism is part of American society and challenges the beliefs that allow it to flourish. Let's talk about this with people who are affected by this discussion. A Virginia mom against critical race theory teaching in school, Asra Nomani. And also with us is a Texas parent in favor of critical race theory being taught in schools, Kazike Prince. I want to thank both of you for coming on, for this is such an important discussion that we're having. And look, I know that you both agree that parents should have a say, right? That they should have a say in what their kids are being taught. You differ on what schools should teach. So, Asra, to you first. What do you think schools should not be teaching?
So schools should absolutely be teaching reading, writing, arithmetic. They should not be radicalizing our kids. And unfortunately, schools are now radicalizing our kids. I mean, this is the volume of the book from critical race theory that, as people say, teach in law schools. But unfortunately, it is now trickling down into little books for children like Woke Baby, Gender Queer, which is the book that actually inspired this mom to speak in the school board meeting in Fairfax County, to which Terry McAuliffe responded. In it, there is unfortunately very graphic symbol of pedophilia and pornography.
Can I ask you, though, why do you draw a line from one to the other? Because I have gone through critical race theory. I don't know that there's a direct line. Why do you think that there is?
So just look at this idea that is in Not My Idea. And it literally says here, whiteness is a bad deal. And it has a symbol of Satan. And this is the contract that they say whiteness brings. And children are getting this book. And so there is a direct correlation from these ideas to these dangerous principles. And I fit into the intersectional world. I'm a Muslim, I'm an immigrant, I'm a mom of color, I am a single mom, but yet I deny all of these, privileges in the new paradigm of the oppression matrix, because we're all human beings. And that's what we need to teach our children. Of course, race is an important issue. Our racial history is important. But right now, critical race theory is bringing into our schools racism, bigotry, and separation, affinity circles, segregation. It's not okay, and it's not healthy for our kids.
Kazike, what do you say to that?
What I say is that, one of the big problems we have today, and we've learned this during the pandemic situation that we're in today, that we have too many people who know little or nothing about education trying to tell professionals who are in this industry, who've been working hard. If anything, we've learned that their jobs are much harder than we think they are. And we're coming in as weekend warriors, trying to tell them about what education should look like. And what I would say is that I think we need to put a little bit more trust in our educators. We need to put a little more trust in people who have actually researched this issue and who actually are better informed because they've actually spent the time and energy necessary to really understand some of the nuances that are being kind of just blown over here in this conversation. And I think what's important to really be aware of is that having this conversation around race and racism is what this is really about. And what you oftentimes hear on the other side is this unwillingness to really call things out. What they used to say in the black church is, shame the devil and tell the truth. The truth is racism is real. It's having a real impact on our children. It's having an impact on the quality of life that people are experiencing. And where else is a better place to have the conversation around race and racism but in the classroom, to make sure that they're critical thinkers, that they're problem solving, they're innovators, so they're prepared for the world of work, so they can go out there and make a real difference in the world. And if basically the response is, well, let's not have this conversation, so we can keep them silent and quiet and not able and really make no real change in society.
Well, what's so ironic is that it is parents that they are trying to silence. I'm wearing this shirt that says, I'm a mom, not a domestic terrorist, because the National School Board Association and now the Justice Department has started a war on parents to silence us. And of course, I respect educators. I came to this country not knowing a word of English, and it was teachers in West Virginia that allowed me to become a journalist. And this is what we're investigating, is that this is literally a poster that a parent sent to us of a picture. And I blanked out the F word, but it says
From
F.
where?
From Los Angeles Unified School District. It's called.
That you say was displayed?
It was displayed, and the school district acknowledged it. Like, being a journalist,
Yeah.
we checked. We have this organization called Parents Defending
Asra,
Education,
let me ask you about this, because I think, Kazike, and I'm curious what you think about this. There are some books, there are some pictures that certainly are things that should be discussed and debated, and clearly parents have, they have a stake in whether some of these things are read or said. But I wonder if you see this as fully representative of the discussion of race. Like, are you arguing that all of these things should be included, or are you saying that this sort of blanket argument against critical race theory is actually an effort to avoid discussing racism?
Yeah, it's an effort, and it's oftentimes hidden behind this rhetoric. I mean, the language that I'm hearing used here doesn't really speak to the level of sophistication that I think is necessary to help our young people be prepared for the world of work, for the society that they're going to be living in. As someone who worked in universities, we had too many students who were coming to the university who had little or no experience of knowing how to navigate the conversations and relationships that were related to race. And so oftentimes they were ill prepared. And so I'm not saying every piece of material that's out there is appropriate and useful, but that's what parents, I think, having their involvement is so critical. It doesn't mean that we have no involvement from parents. As a parent myself, I was definitely involved in my children's education, not just at school, but also at home. And so I think it's really important to really, not to really kind of lowball this conversation and really make it oversimplified. This is actually pretty nuanced. And so I think parents have the means of becoming more informed, to kind of be aware of what's available out there for them so they can make really good decisions. But I don't think that means we need to abuse and really speak down to educators as if they are not prepared or have the information that's necessary. And on occasion, I think there's times where we should be saying, you know what, I'm not sure about this. I have questions. But that's what this whole conversation about being critical is about. It's about having the means of having an intelligent, meaningful conversation about this instead of just kind of throwing it all out and thinking, oh, well, this, it's not an appropriate way to dealing with some of these challenges.
Well, look, I know that we have only scratched the surface of this topic. There's so much more. And when we're talking about our children, obviously this is something that we're all very invested in. But I thank both of you for having a discussion, a civil discussion that needs to continue. Asra Nomani and Kazike Prince, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have courage, everyone.